And where did you first learn to play the game Skat?
In an adult education set of classes in the area that my German ancestors settled, New Braunfels, Texas. I had my first lesson to learn Skat in 1961 from two former high school classmates. Then I had my next lesson in 1987 because Skat requires frequent playing and I had children and work to worry about. So when my youngest child was a senior in college, I took 6 weeks, one night a week class, adult education for Skat.
Well, okay, Jim, well, I have to ask her, are you any good at playing Skat?
Is this in color? Okay, I'll blush maybe. I'm pretty good.
You're good? So do you think you can be one of the 12 best in Canada?
No, probably. I'm actually, in 2011, the annual score record to be in the Challenge Cup, I was 13th in North America. That's
a good accomplishment.
It's a little better than it sounds because we do not play with the weaker players at home. I played all of my 30 sessions at annual tournaments in the States and in Canada, where the players are slightly better. So I liked it.
So will you be going to the Worlds?
No.
No. So who would you say is the toughest competition in Skat?
The person? Just one person?
Well, or a few. I'll rephrase it.
Okay. Well, some of the top players in the States are Bernie Krebsbach, who went home with pneumonia from this set of tournaments. And the trouble with naming one, I don't know if I can get away with that. Anyway, in Canada, Ron Link is very good. Eric Klaus from Calgary. Several people. There are a lot of good players in Montreal area.
Why do you love Skat?
I find it a good, mentally challenging game. And what makes it, that part that makes it good for me is why it's declining to the point of endangered species. In Texas in the 1950s, they had over 700 players at the state tournament. We're now having trouble getting 40. And since this is on TV, I have to rephrase it a little. The people of that era, the men of leisure, had worked at manual labor. A lot of intelligent people worked at manual labor, walking behind a horse, plowing, and they found mentally challenging games entertaining. Now people are mentally challenged at work and they want to hit little white balls as hard as they can. So we have more trouble getting people to consider them. It can be a strain. Everyone I'm talking to now feels like they're tired. We've played 3 tournaments this week. I think other people should try to learn Skat if they're interested in keeping their brain exercised and developed, especially with regard to logic and solving problems on the spur of the moment. So it's a good mentally challenging game.
And do you think that Canada is going to take the World Tournament this year?
Well, I'll hope so. I've been paying membership here at Edmonton. When I first, well, the question was, who do I think will take the World Championship? And I have to say, I hope Canada will, but I know hardly any of the other players around the world. So we just hope for the best, because I consider myself a Canadian and a U.S. Skat player. I joined for 2 years in Saskatoon, and I plan to join for 2 years around the Canadian West. But I settled here in Edmonton because I made good friends with one of the guys, and I come every year.